Hey, tonight's shave is with the feather blade, and I've used it 11 times already, so today's 12. It's smoothing out nicely. It's not quite so edgy and rough as it was in the first couple of shaves, which is great. And it'll be a good test today because last time I shaved with this guy, even though he is the timeless 6'8", the open comb here made it feel more aggressive than the 95 in a closed comb configuration. So it'll be interesting to try it with a blade that often is a little bit touchy for me. Just sharp, you know. So one thing I don't like about these feathers though, and here's the actual blade in question, is that they have that waxy residue. And so you have to end up cleaning your razors. But I'm going to see how long this feather will go. And so hopefully in the first 40 shaves or so, we'll work a lot of this goo off of the blade. I'm still marathoning my Nacid. It's at 120. One of these days I'll start back up on it and take it to 130 and then pause and use some other blades. This is the knurled handle from Timeless, and holy cow, it is very grippy. It's like holding sandpaper or a file. I feel like I could, this would be a good razor to give somebody in jail because they could use the handle to grind through the bars, you know what I'm saying? So, so this Timeless, this is stainless steel. This has the scalloped top cap, which looks nice with the open comb of the 68 width. And there we go, ready to get ready. Now this is the 1800 Semogue Boar brush, and he has been soaking for a few hours. He only has maybe 3 uses on him, so that's why I'm doing a little bit of a break-in. He's already very comfy, and so I'm not soaking him for that anymore, but I want him to open up and have those hairs continue to split. So we'll put him back in the water now that you've seen him. And the soap is in this vintage mug, and the Williams soap fits right down in there in the bottom of this guy. And you'll probably hear some little bit of clinking, but because it's a narrow one. But I have put water in here, about 2.5 teaspoons of water, and it's been soaking there for a few minutes, or several minutes I should say, and that is part of the recipe for success with Williams, unless you want to spend a whole lot of time mixing on the puck to load your brush. As a lather bowl here, I have this very cool 3D printed one from my friend Roger, and he sent it to me, and I'm really loving it. All right, I think we're ready to go. Splash my face with water. And time for my usual disclaimer of hard water is what I'm using, and it is cold because it's wintertime. I'm going to pour the bloom water, not very much, into my lather bowl, and so therefore I haven't wasted any soap with the soaking process. And then I'm going to shake out a good bit of my water from this brush. All right, now we're going to start to load. Yesterday was a 45-second load. I ended up with 3 more passes of lather than I needed. So let's just do a 30-second one today. And the 15-second mark is now, so we're going to go to the 45-second mark. This brush is a smaller, less dense brush than what I used yesterday, so things could be different, but let's just try 30 seconds. One cool thing about the smaller brushes, they are kind of more action, more enjoyable to navigate around my goatee instead of not being able to move too much. And 3 more seconds, and there we go. So we've got bubbly and airy, and so all you have to know, don't use that. Don't shave with that. All right. So we'll put that down in the lather bowl. And this is the newer generation of Williams pucks. I think it's 2005 that somebody said, is when they took some of the tallow out of the Williams pucks. So even though this is very similar to what your grandpa may have used, it's not exactly the same. Those vintage pucks now, those suckers, the lather on that is a lot nicer than what you'll get here. However, this is still a really good lather. Very slick, and yesterday's lather was terrifically creamy. Most people would probably not believe it if I would have shown them that lather, let them use it, and told them that it was Williams. Most people just don't know how to work it. So like I said, we are going to just mix past that bubbly stuff that you get at first, because it's just the way Williams is. Already, we've got something resembling a much nicer lather. Now, since we started with a certain amount of water, I'm not going to keep adding it. I'm going to let this kind of equalize and turn creamy first, and then we can see if it needs more water. So just a few minutes of stirring. Williams is not for those who need a good quick lather. There are just so many other soaps right now that can deliver a better lather quicker. So I'm not going to try to misrepresent it. See, already we've got a good looking lather. Okay. Now, that's too dry, so we're going to add some more water. Fill up my 2 teaspoon syringe. I believe yesterday I just added another teaspoon. Don't know what I'll need to do today. It looks like maybe it's going to need more than that, but we'll see. When I shook out some water from the brush yesterday, which had a boar knot, but it was a bigger boar knot, and therefore it probably contained more water, so it's possible that it had more water in the lather than this one is starting out with. Looking very good. I think let's add another half teaspoon. What happened yesterday? Did I get this lather on my face and need to add a little bit more water? I can't remember. I don't think so. I think that was the day before yesterday with another soap. Look at that. Now you can make a super lather or whatever they call it by adding maybe some glycerin or something like that to this, but I just don't think it's needed. I mean, this is a great looking lather. I mean, that's just terrific. And it's slick as snot. In terms of slickness, I think it competes with anything. It may not have the post-shave qualities of some of the newer artisan soaps that have butters and oils and stuff in them, but it's not the playground where it's playing. It wasn't meant to be that. And it's a fraction of the price. This is still a ton of lather, so I bet I could reduce my time down to 20 if I wanted to. This looks terrific. Let's just try it out. And there's my little brush rest. Pretty cool. Okay, so here's the Hazel Atlas mug. Vintage mug. May have even been made specifically for Williams and other pucks that were the same size. Maybe Colgate too, I don't know. But it is a similar time frame. Happened to get it when I bought a lot of soap products, you know, kind of a box, predefined box of miscellaneous items. All right, water on the face. Cold and bracing. But sometimes with an aggressive setup, blade and razor and all that, the cold water is very handy to help with inflammation and to cool down any kind of irritation that may pop up. Very handy for that. If you have irritation in your during your shave, try some room temperature or cool water. See if that helps you. All right, here we go. This is the Semogue 1800. I think this is a mixture of the extra grade hairs that they have and the premium grade. And it's nice and scrubby. Right now, it is not prickly at all. And so I don't believe it's going to give me any brush burn. Oh yeah, this lather feels great. A little bit more scrubbing. And almost done. Taking a few extra minutes on that first pass is also good because if you want your hairs to be kind of affected and softened to make them easier to shave, then taking a few minutes on that first lather is a good idea. That's also why I put a little water on my face before all the prep to start the process of softening those hairs. I have a friend online who disagrees with that. For him, he believes that, and he uses a, oh man, I don't think he uses an open angle. I think he has an angle closer to this. And so the blade is more perpendicular with the skin, I think, kind of almost a scrapey kind of shave. And that works best for him. And he likes it to have those hairs not be quite so softened and laying down. He wants them to stand up and be firm, and that's how he gets better shaves. So that, again, that's something that may be a subjective thing for you as well. You could try it different ways. All right, let's see if this open comb with this feather in it is too aggressive or not. That is sharp. I mean, it's just gliding through my hairs. I can feel the edge of the blade, but it's cutting so well, I'm not really feeling it cut the hairs. Probably a blade that I should be careful of with my technique with this open comb. We'll see what happens. This razor is not going to slip out of my hands with this handle that I have. Holy cow. Here's my tricky spot. I'm going to bet this combo handles my tricky spot really well. And there we go, knocks it out. Wasn't super slick right away, but it's possible I may have this mixture just tad thick, a little tad dry. We'll see. I mean, I didn't have any problems with it, but it just didn't feel as kind of slick and luxurious and stuff. So we will rinse now. All right, I went ahead and quickly added another ½ teaspoon of water, just in case my guess was right and that this just needed a little more hydration. I also left some water on my face, so, oh, and in my chin right there. Too much water can be stored in the goatee if I'm not careful. Yeah, this is going to be a good lather. Nice. Second pass. My cheeks go in a normal fashion from north to south, so this is cross grain here. Very nice glide here. Definitely had a little too, needed to add some more water to this mix. It was just I mean, it was workable, but this is the kind of slickness that you want. And this combo of blade and razor doing really well, comfort-wise. I still feel like I should be careful. Second pass all done. Nice. Again, this is just a tremendously slick lather. And I thought that I probably needed more water when I put on that first pass, because I did my neck swipes here and I looked at the grooving and I saw a little bit of clumping. And for this soap, for me, that's a telltale sign that it needs more water. Because this right here, there's no clumping, just nice grooves. And I just had a wonderful slick rinse. This is the performance lather right here. Feels great putting it on this brush. Really happy with it. Can't wait till these brushes break in, and then I can try to maybe evaluate them a little bit more critically. I'm curious if I'm going to be able to tell the difference in these different hair grades that Semogues have. There's the premium, the extra, there's the, well, see if I can remember it while I'm shaving. All right. Nope, I wasn't able to remember the other grade. So such as it is. Be interesting to see if I can tell the difference. All right, now nice slick rinse coming up here. In terms of results, there are a couple of hairs that I can see here that have a little bit of length on them in my trouble spot. And so I could try to hit those, especially since they go this angle. I was coming at them in a kind of a 90-degree cross grain from the top down at a diagonal. And so I've had better luck coming from the bottom going north. And there is a little aspect of against the grain when I do that. But I was experiencing just a little irritation. I think I have something on my neck down here that's just been kind of plaguing me the last few days. And so I'm just going to take it easy on it and just enjoy a really close shave and not go for anything further. Really happy with the result today again. I wasn't dinged or nicked by the configuration, the blade and stuff at all. Nice, comfortable shave. And, you know, maybe with this setup, this blade and this open comb, I may need to, sensitive area is right along the border here for me when it turns into normal skin versus hair skin, you know. And then there's a little bit of looseness as well. And so what I may want to do is just tighten that just a little bit to make sure that the blade will just glide across the skin instead of causing the skin to bunch up in certain areas and then kind of come up to the blade a little too closely. Anyway, it's a good shave. Let's see what I have for aftershave. All right, I found some Prix de Provence, a French balm. I have the accompanying soap. This is one of the few where I have the match. This is the number 63, which is kind of a warm, spicy type scent. And I like it a lot better than the original Prix de Provence. And the soap is just tremendous. It costs more than Williams. Most things do. But it will last so much longer that it may actually be cheaper per shave than Williams. I did sprinkle a little bit of water on my face before I put this balm on. It just makes it a lot easier to work into my skin without causing any irritation due to kind of finger friction, if you will. There we go. Got this used. Good deal. All right. How much soap do we have left? Man, that's a good smell. We've got plenty. 2 passes, maybe 3. You know, how awesome is that? Look at that. That is an elastic, well-hydrated lather right there. That's Williams. $1.29. Give you 60 shaves is what I've gotten from my Williams puck in the past. That is a crazy good, high-performance, slick lather with just a kind of a fresh, soapy scent. The citronella is very strong in the beginning, but after a couple of days of just kind of sitting out, dissipates really nicely and is not a bother. So, you know, just combating the stereotype that a lot of people think that Williams is junk. It does take more time to get this kind of lather. That's the way it is. All right. It's dropped on the towel just now. Semogue 1800. Like 4 uses on it, I think. Doing great. How about that? Nice little light brush. This wooden handle, very light. I like these Semogues. How much water did I use? I did use another 2 teaspoons in addition to what I had already added to the top of the puck, like I showed you earlier. All right. I'll show you something quick on the timeless. Here's the base plate. Notice this. Well, this big old flat piece, it comes over. A lot of razors will stop right here and they'll let the blade be unsupported from the bottom for the last several millimeters. And the timeless does not do that. Other razors like the Carve Christopher Bradley, Wolfman, Razor Rock Game Changer, the vintage Gillette Tex, they hold on right up close to the edge. And so that can give you a more consistent shave because there's less microscopic flex the edge of the blade. So then, as you can see, we will put top cap down, and you can see how it just supports the blade edge really quite a long way away from the center of the razor, just to keep it nice and tight, predictable. I think these timeless razors are just wonderful. And the grippiness I was talking about with this, it's much more grippy when it's dry. So during the shave, I had wet hands and all that. It was actually a little bit less grippy, and so it's a lot more comfortable. So that was pretty nice. I bet over time, even just me holding it and using it and shaving with it will soften those tiny tips on the top of those knurling bits and make it a little more comfortable to hold. All right. Here's the feather, and if I get the reflection right, you can see those waxy bits that I don't like too much. All right, so that's done. Clean up is what I'm doing now. I only feel irritation in that one area I was telling you about. Oh, okay, yeah. We caught a bitty weeper right here, and I believe that is kind of where I'm feeling, yeah, the irritation. I just must have gone a little too fast. Right there, I may have actually gone against the grain a little bit. Can't remember. May have been a blemish right there that was sticking the skin up a little too much. So it is something to be careful with, but that also means that that it's also shaving really closely, and the capacity there is very present for a really close shave. So it's a trade-off. You want comfort, switch to at least in this configuration, the 95 gap, which is a bigger gap. Closed comb is smoother. And of course, the 68 closed comb is still going to be even smoother than that when compared to this open comb. So, and to tell you the truth, I get great close shaves from everything. And so in general, with this sharp of a blade, I'm probably going to choose the closed comb to go with the comfort. So at the end of the shave, comfort level is pretty high, even though I got that little weeper. It doesn't really feel like much. So this is a good setup, very enjoyable. And especially if I have skipped a few days of shaving, this open comb is just going to slice right through those hairs. And with a couple of blades that are similar to the feather in terms of sharpness, it'll just cut through them like butter. It's done that before. So it's a really good setup when you're dealing with that situation. Now regarding this 3D printed bowl, if you don't know about 3D printers, they just lay down plastic and they build it up from the bottom, and so you can see the lines where they did that. These spirals are terrific for building up lather, and so this is just a great gift from a viewer. I really appreciate it, and I will, when he's in the process of printing a little bit larger one. You saw how my fingers were getting all soapy, and one that's a little bit larger will help me with that issue. And so when that happens, I will put up in the description of this video, I will put in the links to the website that will contain the pattern. If you have a 3D printer and are interested in this, I'll probably put 2 links in this particular video and others where I'm using the smaller bowl. I'll put a link for the smaller, and then I'll probably have the larger one as well there in case you want to go with that one too. And so I think it's just pretty cool that you can just upload a file. Thingiverse.com is, I believe, the website where a lot of people are storing their patterns and their files, and so that people can 3D print things. And it's very sturdy. Not really very much flex to it if I squeeze it. It's light, and so the cool thing is it's plastic, and so if I drop it on the sink, it's not going to shatter into a million pieces like my ceramic bowl does. So so look down there for the links. I'm not going to post them right away. I'm going to wait until I have the link for the big one as well. Then I'll go through all the posts that have this bowl and post both links so that those files can be accessed. Very cool. Thank you, Roger. So to reiterate, this combination for people with skin and hair type like me, the feather inside this open comb razor, even though it's the more mild version of the Timeless, it's aggressive enough to where I need to be careful with my technique if I want to avoid some nicks. But in general, if I am careful, nice, smooth, comfortable shave. Excellent. Just got to be careful with it. So we're all cleaned up. So now it's time for the sum up. And after that, I'll talk a little bit about Boar brushes. I want to make sure that as many people as possible know how to take care of and what to expect from their boars. If you've already heard that, if you already know about that, then you can sign off after whenever you want. I am really surprised that I reduced the load time by 15 seconds and I still ended up with 2 passes more of lather. And so let's reduce it down to 20 next time and see what happens. So I started off at 45 yesterday, 45 seconds of loading. Today was 30. Let's take it down to 20. See what happens. So there we go. So that's all for the sum up. You've heard me say excellent shave, really good. Williams is a good product. It just needs, the key is the soaking, and then I reuse the water in the lather so that the soap is not wasted. And then that softens up the top of that soap. It's a hard tallow soap. Softens up the top so that you can then kind of load it like normal. And then the second aspect, the important thing, is that airy, light lather that you get at the very beginning. Push through that, keep mixing, and you'll get to the good stuff. So there we go. All right, now about Boar brushes. Just a couple of quick things. They require break-in in many cases. Some people advocate just using them like normal. And sometimes what that means is you have to go back to the puck before each pass to kind of load up. Okay, because maybe they're kind of small, they haven't really fanned out yet, and they don't really hold very much lather. And so, and they can also be kind of uncomfortable on the face. And so it's important to just be patient with them at first. And some brands use different grades of hair, different kinds of hair. And so I've had them break in 5 uses. I've had others, and even the same brand, break in 18 uses. Okay, so it can vary. Some even longer. Some are so difficult to break in that you have to employ some kind of shortcut technique like soaking them or something like that. You can research Boar shaving brush break-in technique or break-in shortcuts, and there'll be plenty of resources out there to show you some different kinds. I prefer a more conservative approach. For the first several Semogues and Boars that I had, I would just use them and not try to break them in some speedy way. So also the Boars absorb water, and before they have water in the hairs, they're very stiff. And so it would be very uncomfortable if you were to use one, because it'd be like shaving with a broom. It's just that way. And so what you do is you can get them really wet, set them aside for a few minutes while you prep, and then that'll give that water a chance to absorb. I prefer to go a little further than that and actually soak them in the cup. And you may have seen that. I don't have it around right now. Cleaned it up already. But I only soak the bristles, and I just 3 minutes minimum, and it's usually working pretty well. And so it is important to get it wet before the shave and let that water have a chance to get into those bristles. Badgers, you don't have to do that. They don't absorb water in the same way, at least in a very minimal way they do. But in general, you can just use them the way you want. So those are just a couple of things about Boars, because if you've never heard that, then this is news, and this can really change your world. I love these guys. They are between like $10 and $12, and so you can actually get a really comfortable experience as you train these guys, and you get these, because what happens is the tips will split. You can see some of those that look like a little umbrella or something like that. So these tips are starting to split, and when they do that, they get softer and softer. several months from now, this guy's going to be crazy soft, and it'll be really neat to see and use. All right, so there's enough about boars. I hope there was something here for you. You take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Good night.